Hello, Michael.
Kia ora, Claire. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, it's a pleasure. What time is it in New Zealand?
It's 10:30 at night, so I
Oh,
feel
is
like a bit
it?
like, yeah, I feel like a bit like I'm out, like at a club or something,
You like
but
out
it's my
out?
house. Yeah. So
It's nine
is
thirty
it?
in the morning here.
Oh, okay. So
So
kind of
I'm
breakfast
recovering
time.
from the club.
How long has Coro been going for?
Oh my God, Corrie has been going for 60 years. So when when
Wow.
when Shortland Street started, Brookside had been going for 10 years, and
Ah,
Corrie had been going for 30 years. So what can the British viewers expect from it?
from Shortland Street.
Yeah,
It's a medical drama. It's set in Shortland Street Hospital. It's the lives and loves of all the staff that work there. It's quite fast paced for a soap, and there's a lot of humor in it for a soap
okay.
to kind of balance out the drama. And also, our writers over the decades have always taken very seriously the idea of trying to keep it current. So they're always on the lookout for the issues and that people are concerned about. And yeah,
Well,
they,
this
they,
is
they try to make,
interesting you say this because, for example, Corrie used to be very character led. Brookside was known for its groundbreaking stories, which we will talk about later. And Corrie was always character led. And now television's changing. Corrie is becoming a bit more issue led as well now.
okay.
People are expecting more hard hitting subjects, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are. Yeah, luckily, Shortland Street has already had always kind of been doing that. So, and it's just something that we've kept. The other thing about Shortland Street is, unlike the UK, it's kind of the only drama that's always there, and sometimes depending on our industry, it's literally the only TV show being made in New Zealand. So I think the writers feel a kind of responsibility and an obligation to make
Absolutely.
sure that everything is reflected. You know what I mean? It's the first time ever that we've had Shortland Street playing overseas at almost current
Parallel, yeah.
with what's playing in New Zealand. So it's really exciting for us because it kind of means we'll have people over in the UK who can have interesting conversations with people watching it in New Zealand and other
Fantastic.
places, and there won't be any spoilers going on. They'll be able to share opinions watching the same episode. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it.
I remember as a kid, every Saturday, so we used to do what they call the omnibus edition of Brookside. It was
Yeah.
on during the week. Then Saturday, they'd show all the episodes. For me, Saturday, I'd rush home, sit and watch the omnibus with my mum. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'd sit and watch Coronation Street.
Yeah.
People are watching TV different now. The youngsters, everyone's watching TV. You watch it on demand. And I suppose that you're looking at the omnibus edition. It's kind of similar to watching it on STV Player now. You can watch it all in one go, but people are watching TV different now. What do you think of the benefits of that?
It's so different, isn't it? Well, it's brilliant, isn't it? You get to choose when you watch it.
Yeah.
You can just stick to your own schedule. If there's something in your life that's kind of taking you away and you miss it for a week or two, you can just catch up just like that. It's exciting times, that's for sure. People are watching it so differently. I've got a daughter, she's 18, and she will happily watch. I could never do it. She would happily watch TV shows on her phone.
Oh, I do as well.
I hate doing that. I need a big screen. But can you watch TV shows on a phone?
In bed, yeah, just prop my phone up and catch up with stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, isn't it? It's very bizarre. And how as you said, how it's changed. And I will do that now. I will watch something and I'll watch it back to back episodes
Yeah. It's
and
nice,
binge
isn't it?
watch it. Yeah. It
Mm.
is. Although yeah, it is. It is. It's exciting. And as you said, if you do have stuff going on in your life, you're not going to miss it. So, Michael, they call you Dr. Love.
Well, they
Right.
did. With when you first met the character, he was there was an emergency, a medical emergency at the hospital, and they're like, page Chris Warner, and then you finally meet Chris Warner, and he's getting a page, but he's busy shagging the aerobics instructor, and so and it kind of got worse from there. He's supposedly someone with great skill, immensely rich from a very rich family, but a terrible philanderer.
He's
Yeah,
quite
so he was called.
entitled and a bit of a rogue.
Absolutely that classic kind of soap type. But of course, you can only stay in that zone for so long, especially, as I've aged.
You've
It
aged
gets a bit
really
more
well. You
ridiculous.
look great.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. But yeah, Dr. Love is a kind of a historic thing. But the character has been married. I don't know if it's 5 or 6 times, because you know the whole soap thing about you're in the middle of a wedding and someone comes along and the wedding gets stopped, and you kind of think, well, does that marriage count? Is that number 4 or 5, or does that not count? You know, so I've either been married between 5 and 7 times, depending on what's official and what's not. So,
I love that. I love that. And so when you're like a real heartthrob, I mean, you're still a great looking guy, but
thank you. That's kind.
In the day as well. Were you the pin-up in?
I look. I'll be honest. No, because are you aware of there's an Kiwi actor called Martin Henderson, who has gone on to do very well in Hollywood, and he was kind of younger. I was like 25, but he was about 20, and he's gone on to have a.
So he was the Donovan of Shortland Street.
He was on there too, and he did Grey's Anatomy. He was on Grey's Anatomy for ages.
Great.
And he's better looking than me, and a terrific actor, and so he was the heartthrob, and I was kind of, I don't know what I was there for. I was like the other one. When they couldn't get hold of him, they'll get me. That kind of thing. I was the backup. I was the backup heartthrob.
You know, the New Zealanders, they totally embraced Shortland Street, and you were catapulted to massive fame, having, as you said, been, you know, kind of skint, broke in London. Then you come back, suddenly the reverence from the Kiwis, the money, everything, and you coped with it okay, yeah?
Well, yeah, it was nice after a while. I mean, it's what we want as actors, isn't it? But how is it for you going to Brookside? Because one of the key differences here is New Zealand is a small country and the UK is massive, and so like 10 times the size. So what I'm guessing is the madness for you would be 10 times the madness for me.
It's all relative, you know. It's all relative. You will have had exactly the same as us. I mean, the funny thing was, I was a fan of the show. I used to sing on cruise ships. And my mum used to send me the Betamax videos, and I was obsessed with Brookside. And then I got the role in Brookside, and they offered me 1 episode.
Okay.
And I'd accepted 6 months singing on a cruise ship. So I did the 1 episode, and then they asked me to go back. I said, "Oh no, I've taken my cruise ship job. I've taken that." Yeah. And then I remember being on the cruise ship 4 years later. They kept asking me to come back for 1 I wrote a letter. It was the days when you used to write letters to people, right?
Yeah,
I sat and wrote a letter to the producers saying, "Is that 1 episode still going? I'd love to come back." Like 4 years later, the day Mal Young, our producer, received the letter was the day they were going into a future storyline conference. And he went in, put the letter on the table. Day later, it wouldn't have happened. And then suddenly I was in my favorite soap. My pin-up at the time was a character called Barry Grant. You know, I was getting to snog him. I was getting to it was like win-win, you know. But I remember just the feeling, how it felt to me. It was like constantly walking around with my flies down. People just looking at you. But the difference is, like with EastEnders and Coronation Street, they really were massive. We were in a little bubble, I think similar to New Zealand, actually. We were in a little bubble in Liverpool. It's not often we came to London. We might have come down for the odd awards ceremony. In Liverpool, the attitude is you're not allowed to get too big for your boots. So Scousers, you didn't get, you know, there was no big fanfare when you went out, whatever. So it was kind of everything was down to earth. It was like a family. And like the EastEnders guys, it was massive for them. Coronation Street was massive. But we were kind of the smaller soap that was very edgy and tackled really big issues. Like we did the very first lesbian kiss. We did the first incest story, body buried under the patio. So Phil Redmond, our producer, was known for doing really groundbreaking stories. And I just kind of took it in my stride, really. You know, we were protected by the press office. There was no social media.
No, thank God.
Things were different. We were quite protected, although the newspapers held a lot more clout then.
The press in England just seems brutal. Absolutely. Have you ever experienced that kind of thing, that kind of viciousness that the English press has?
I'll be honest with you. I'm quite clean living and quite boring, so I've not been on the tail end of like.
Well, good for you.
Getting busted for anything, but one journalist did compare me to Hitler once.
Oh, what?
You know, But you know what? It was a culture then, Michael. It was a culture of, we were led to believe you put your head above the parapet and you've got to take
Yep.
what comes with you.
Yep.
Whether that be packing, whether it was that culture of, you know, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was then.
Hey, speaking of that, you know, you say you loved the show Brookside, and then you went on to it. Was there an intimidation factor for you? Like, was there a part of you that was scared to go in there, and were you worried that you wouldn't kind of match up to this great show that you loved, or were you just so confident it didn't matter?
No, I was terrified, and I'd never acted before.
What? Really?
I was a cruise ship singer.
Wow.
I've never done any screen acting.
So did you nail your audition? You must have done a brilliant audition or something.
I don't know what I did. You know what? I'll tell you what it was about. There was a part going for a singer in the show, right?
Oh, okay.
And I wanted that part to be in a character's band. I wanted that part. And I went in for the audition. Now, my agent at the time said to me, they can't see you for that part. You're away for that audition, but go for this one and just say some, look, I want that part that you're auditioning for next week.
Yeah.
So I went
and that worked.
So I didn't want the role.
Okay.
And there's something about going in, not wanting it. Do you know what I mean? I wanted the other part. And it was my birthday. I'll never forget. I went in and went, look, I don't really want this part. I want that one. And that was it. And I got the part.
That is the key, isn't it? You're not wanting it too much, being relaxed. When I auditioned for Shortland Street, I was hungover, and I'm convinced that's why, like really badly, and I'm convinced that's why I got the job. You know, it just gives you that extra thing if you just, I don't care, you know, it just gives you that extra quality.
But you know what? How old was I? I was 20-something, 20. So I was 20 when I first did the first step. When I went back in, I was 26. I was 52. When I got another bite of the cherry going into Coronation Street. And I was more nervous at 52 with loads more experience under my belt. My first scene was a 14-page two-hander with Dame Maureen Lipman, who's like, you know, one of the best actors in the country. 14-page two-hander. And I was terrified. I was, you know, I'd had all those years of experience under my belt, but I was more scared then. There was something about
I can understand that.
Yeah,
I can understand that. That would have been so intimidating, though. It's in a way, when you're young, you've kind of got, there are no expectations. But for you, example, you know, your amazing career that you've had up to that point, it's like there would be so many expectations. And now here she is on Coro. You know, what's she going to do? Did you feel the weight of that expectation? Maybe.
I did. And it was a great scene. It was my character coming out of an overdose. I did not look like me at all. It was with Maureen Lipman. I knew it inside out, back to front. So I didn't even have to think. And in between takes, I was in a hospital bed. I just shut my eyes and not acknowledge what was going on around me, not see Maureen Lipman in front of me. I just shut my eyes and did an action, and I'd do it, you know. I just tried to go to this very, very calm Zen place, but I was terrified.
Okay.
But, you know, as you said, when you're younger, for me, ignorance was bliss. Good. Ed Sheeran made an appearance in Shortland Street. Is this right?
That was absolutely, I mean, what a guy, what a performer. That, of course, was the week that I was on holiday. So
no way.
I didn't.
2014, wasn't it? What happened?
I didn't get to meet him. Well, he actually had a scene with another young actor who's gone to do very well called KJ Arpa, who's on a show. You know, they did a revamp of the Archie comics, Riverdale.
Yeah.
So it was a big show in the States, and KJ Arpa was a Kiwi, very good-looking young man, and his scene was with Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was kind of giving him kind of advice on how to play the guitar. But he was just an absolute dream. Apparently, I wasn't there, but he was just lovely to everyone. That blows my mind that he even was aware of us. So I didn't get to meet him, which was a shame because he sounded like. But I did get to do a scene with Conan O'Brien. Are you aware of Conan O'Brien?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got this show, and the premise of the show is that he goes to small countries that only have like one soap, and he guest roles in their soap.
I love
and
that.
So we qualified. And so I had this crazy scene with Conan O'Brien where he plays this incredibly arrogant doctor and he just kind of, you know, dismisses everything I say.
It's iconic. Ed Sheeran was also in the Bridget Jones movie. He was very good in it. He's very good.
Hey, tell me, Claire, you must have worked with some massive names. And what is there any that really stand out to you? Is there anyone you think? I mean, you mentioned Maureen Lipman. Are there any other ones where you think, oh wow, I got to meet that person, or I got to work with that person?
I've got a storyline now with a character called Ken Barlow, who's the longest serving.
I know Ken Barlow.
He's the longest serving actor in soap. He's been in it 60 years, right?
Wow.
He's 93 years of age.
Oh.
He doesn't drop a line. His eyes twinkle. He drives himself into work. He's more on his lines than I am. He's fantastic. He's a national treasure. I'm poisoning him.
You're poisoning how you? Oh, you mean your character is literally poisoning his character?
I'm going to be the most hated woman in the UK.
No, you can't. No, you
can't. I know
do
my
that.
character was just starting to have a redemption arc. She's
no.
To be liked.
Even I know who Ken Barlow is. You can't be killing Ken Barlow. No,
I'm poisoning him. So in the UK, we have a thing called the Hun culture, which is quite, just relatively new the last few years. You're looking at me blank. You obviously don't have it in New Zealand. The Hun culture. Okay. It's kind of massive with women of a certain age and gays, right? And it's kind of pop stars from the 90s, soap stars, kind of, glamorous middle-aged women partying and gays, and they call it the Hun culture.
Okay.
And so do you have anything like that in New Zealand?
If we do, they're doing it without me.
You're not a Hun, are you, babes?
I'm not a Hun, and I've not heard this term before. I love it. It sounds fantastic, but I have not heard that term before. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So is it a reaction maybe against the the kind of the youth obsessed social media and all these
kind of taken off. It started off, there was a website called Mumsnet, right, where all the mothers would go on, and then someone set one up called Hunsnet, right? Okay. And it's kind of like women like myself. There's a woman called Gemma Collins who's very outspoken, Lisa Scott Lee, and Lovely. It's kind of breathed life into a lot of people who disappeared in the 90s. And
it's
now
fantastic.
They do brunches for the Huns. I don't like going out. I would rather do a long day than a night out now. Go out, drinks. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Go out, have a drink, have a party in the afternoon, home in bed by 9. And they do brunches for the Huns and all this now. It's really taken off.
Okay. And you are, I hope, are forefront of this movement, and people are giving you the adulation you deserve. Or...
I don't know about that. There's a few others ahead of me in the queue.
Okay.
So, Michael, a few years ago, there was a clip of you in Shortland Street that went viral. It even ended up on Jimmy Kimmel. Tell us about that. I had like over 1 million hits on YouTube. Really? I'll just give you a quick background for the scene, and then you can watch the scene if you haven't already. So Chris Warner has a son called Harry, and he's very naughty. He's 16 or 17, and of course he's been receiving a lot of peer pressure to send inappropriate texts, and he sent an inappropriate text to his girlfriend, but by mistake he sent it to his dad, to me. So Chris has received an inappropriate text from Harry, and that's, now you can roll the scene. Well, let's have a look.
Where's your room?
Upstairs. Maybe this is a mistake.
You said your dad's at golf.
He's not at golf. Hey, Dad, this is Lily.
Hi.
Go home, please, Lily.
What? Why?
Where's Finn?
Swimming.
Goodbye, Lily.
Bye.
No.
There's always tomorrow.
Okay, that was rude.
Rude? I'll show you rude. The tablet is still synced to your phone. Please tell me that is not your penis.
Yep. And so that catchphrase is now
legendary. Tell me that is not your penis.
Please tell me that's not your penis. that people shout that at me on the street. Yeah,
I love that.
that's my epitaph now. That's going to be on
Well,
my
I
gravestone.
love that all the years of work, the hours you put in, and that is your epitaph. That is fantastic. It's your legacy,
Yep.
isn't it? That's
So yeah,
fantastic.
so that was crazy. For some reason, it caught fire. It ended up on the Kimmel show, and they reenacted the scene. And Alec Baldwin played Chris Warner, and it was all just way too much.
So, Michael, I'm going to
Yep.
test you on your knowledge of Shortland Street, of your character, your history over the years. Right, here we go. You've had 5 sons. Can you name them?
Well, Harry, that
Yeah.
one, Frank,
Yep,
and Finn.
yep.
I think I've only got 3 sons, and I have 2 daughters. I have Sass and Trinity,
So who's Phoenix and James?
and Phoenix, of course, and
James?
who I completely forgot about, and I don't know who James is. I don't know who James is. I'm not sure I'm aware of, but I did actually completely forget about Phoenix, so I should be castigated severely for that. It's a terrible fathering. All right, I failed that. Okay, let's see if you can do better than me. I'm sure you can. How many British soap awards did Brookside win during its time on air?
I've not got a clue.
9.
I'm so sorry.
You won 9. You won 9.
Really?
soap
9.
awards. That's fantastic.
That's great, isn't it?
That's bloody
I
brilliant.
remember going to the Soap Awards one year, and Brookside forgot to tell me I was nominated. And I won.
So- what a
I
wonderful
won.
surprise.
And you know what? I'd just flown in from Vegas. I'd had a crazy time in Vegas, and I thought, oh my God, I don't know. Should I go? And I went, and I won the most dramatic scene. Didn't know I was nominated.
Oh,
That's
how
lovely, isn't it?
wonderful.
Right, so you've had many, many great actors in Shortland Street, but there's one who went on to appear in Riverdale, which is a massive show. What was his name?
That's KJ Apa. Yeah,
That's
right.
it?
Yeah, he was the one that was in the scene with Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm 1 from 2. Okay, so in which? Oh, you have to know this. In which city was your character, Lindsay Corkle, arrested for drug smuggling in 1996?
Bangkok.
Indeed, Bangkok.
But
Well
listen
done.
to this. When I got that script, I thought, oh my God, we're going to go on location. Yeah! Right? We went to Liverpool Airport.
Yeah, I bet.
They put me on a travelator, sprayed some water on me to make me look sweaty, right? Got a few extras in.
Yeah.
And then I did this scene where I get arrested, I break down crying. It was a really dramatic scene.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And I thought, great, I really enjoyed that. They went, we've got to go again. Why? We went past a sign saying, welcome to Liverpool on the wall. He covered it with an orchid.
Oh, so if you did that now, you could just use computer effects and get rid
Yeah,
of the
you
sign
just
and
see, was it CGI or something they call it, yeah?
keep your. Oh, that's so funny. Oh yeah, I'm so familiar with that situation. You read your character is suddenly in another country, but no, you never go there, do you?
Your very first episode, playing Dr. Love, you had a very intimate scene with another actress. What was her profession?
He was an aerobics instructor. Yes, that's right. And we were shagging in the one of the rooms. Yes, terrible.
Very
I should have been
adventurous.
saving lives, but instead I was doing that. So
Very
Yeah.
flexible.
it only got worse from there. Right. Okay. Here's your final question. How long did it take Brookside to reach 1 million streams when it was relaunched on STV Player in 2023? The clue is it broke streaming records. Wow.
It did, and it ended up the most popular show on STV. I think it was quite quickly. I think it might have been within the first week, you know.
That's
the
the
first
answer.
few, yeah, the first few showings, yeah.
1 week. So in 1 week you had 1 million streams.
There's still a lot
That's staggering, isn't
the
it?
show. And it's funny now, I'm in Coronation Street, got a cracking part. People still say Lindsay Corkle, Brookside.
Yeah. I bet.
It's iconic, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. God, 1 million. God, I hope Shortland Street does that well. You've definitely given Shortland Street something to aspire to there. That's fantastic. Wow,
I
okay.
think Shortland Street will be a grower. I think people will watch it, start to fall in love with it, and it'll build. It'll be word of mouth. Thing is, with Brookside, it was such a nostalgic punch for everyone. You know, it came back, and it's like Brookside's being shown again, and it was
Okay.
just such nostalgia. So,
All right. For the 90s,
it was instant.
are they starting it from very beginning or
The
from
very
the 90s
beginning,
or
from the 80s,
from the 80s? Okay.
very
Right.
beginning, yeah.
Right.
So,
And so
as I
when does
said,
it reach your heyday? Is that a few years away yet?
a few years away, yeah. But that's what made me laugh. They wheeled me out to do all the press for it, right? So
Okay.
I was loving it, you know, me and Lewis Semrick, a few of us, and they were like, "So you're gonna?" I said, "I'm not on for another 20 years," but anyway. I really enjoyed chatting to you, Michael. Really
Thank you,
lovely.
Claire. Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise, I feel honoured to have had that time with you. I know how massive you are in the UK, and so I'm really appreciative of you taking the time and
And you've
helping
still got
promote
lovely
it like that.
shiny hair, haven't you? Like Ken Barlow.
And if you're interested in seeing Michael Galvin in action as Dr. Chris Warner, you can watch brand new episodes of Shortland Street only on STV Player.